It was out. Okay. There we go. Good morning, and welcome to the Universalist Church, in which love is the spirit. We're glad you're here, whether you're here in the sanctuary today, braving the rain, or anywhere in the world on our live stream. I'm Lori Strom, one of the co-moderators of your Board of Trustees here at Furnace Street. If you're a visitor, we hope you'll sign one of our guest books at either entrance to the sanctuary or visit our webpage, westhartforduu.org, to learn more. There, you can use the contact page to get onto our mailing list, which is the best way for us to stay connected. We look forward to helping you become part of our congregation. And Reverend Joy Christie has an announcement.
In typical New England April weather, we've been gifted with lovely showers today, which is marvelous because it keeps everything continuing to turn green. However, today's scheduled Echo Spirituality experience, which was scheduled for outdoors, has been postponed until May 3rd. It'll follow our Sunday service that day, and the experience will be at the same time, beginning at 1 o'clock in Westmore Park. And families with children are totally welcome to join that experience, and the Echo Spirituality group hopes to see you, and may all who come to participate in that experience live into John Muir's words. Into the forest I go, to lose my mind and find my soul.
We'll have fellowship through Zoom and in Fisk Hall after worship. If you need help finding your way, just follow the crowd, and anyone with a name tag will be happy to guide you. You can find the link for Zoom fellowship in your weekly news or through the calendar. If you aren't getting the weekly news, please do sign up for it on our website. And now I invite you to take a moment to make your mobile phone silent, turn off your email, put away your keyboards, and settle in for worship.
As we gather to light this symbol of our faith, our chalice, both here and in the sanctuary, and with you in your homes, may its light remind us of the unending blessings that spring forth among and around us in this season. May we know deep within our beings, growth and continual growing always requires us to do something we find very difficult to do: change. Handling those changes can require a sense of tenacity and grit that we would wish sometimes we could do without. However, our day-to-day choices and lives require us to move forward regardless of the uncomfortable feelings that change can always present. Let us enter into worship this day filled with a sense of the consistency of our chalice light that calls us to always shine brightly, even in the midst of continual and sometimes frightening change. Our opening hymn is hymn number 142 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or in spirit in the sanctuary or wherever you are. Please join me now in speaking our words of affirmation, our covenant, as printed in the order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated.
Anybody who would like to come join me up on the steps is more than welcome. Make sure we're down here so that other people can see, okay? Let's stay down here so that everyone can see the book. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing today?
Good.
Good? How do we feel about all the rain? Boo. Unfortunately, that happens a lot in the springtime, huh? We're going to read a book today, and it is called I Can Try Again, and it's a book written by Alicia Ortego. And I'm going to read the story, and I'll make sure everyone gets a chance to see the pictures. So if you can't see right now, that's okay. I'll move the book so you can see it. All right? Hi, my name is Mia, queen of my wonderland. I ride through fields of flowers and dig castles in the sand. Yesterday at school, I wanted to join a game, but the other kids ran off without me. No one called my name. It's okay, I'll let you see. I yelled, "That's mean," and kicked my ball way high into the sky. Then I said some awful words and let out a giant cry. It felt good for a second, but then I frowned and sighed. My tummy hurt, my heart felt low. I wanted to run and hide. Have you ever felt left out before?
No.
Sometimes. How did that make you feel? Sad.
But also I learned that hiding actually makes it worse.
Hiding makes it worse. What do you think Mia should do? She should calm down? Yeah, she should. What do you think? Ask for help? What else?
She should talk to somebody about it.
She should talk to somebody about it? Well, let's find out what she does. My teacher, Miss Luna, walked over with care. She said, "Mia, would you like to breathe some calm air?" She showed me the calm corner, a quiet little space with pillows, books, and breathing tools to slow my racing pace. She said, "Anger is okay. Your feelings all belong. But what we do with angry feelings can help us stay strong." She gave me a magic phrase and taught me to say it now. I can deal with anger, and this is how. Can you say that all together? I can deal with anger, and this is how. Miss Luna showed me how to breathe just like a dragon. In through my nose, out through my mouth, with arms that slowly wag on. Let's breathe like a dragon. She gave me a squishy ball to squeeze when I felt tight, and a feelings chart to point to what wasn't feeling right. We practiced naming feelings, like mad, sad, or feeling left out too. Then Miss Luna shared some magic words to help me know what to do. 1, name it. 2, breathe it. 3, tame it. Can we say that all together? 1, name it. 2, breathe it. 3, tame it. The next day, I saw my drawing blow away in the wind. I gasped. My face got hot. I didn't know where to begin. But I stopped and did my dragon breath and slowly counted to 3. I'm frustrated, I told myself. It's not the end of me. Another day, my friend got the last snack I had planned. I pouted, then paused, and offered her my hand. I'm disappointed, I admitted, but I'll be okay somehow. I can deal with my anger, and this is how. Ready? That night, I wrote in my journal with a great big grin. Today, I used my tools. I calmed the storm within. I added a star with a sparkly golden brow. I can deal with anger, and this is how. Remember? 1, name it. 2, breathe it. 3, tame it. What did she write in her journal? Who can read that? What does that say? I'm proud of me. Good job. So next time we're feeling angry or frustrated, what can we do? What can we do?
Microphone.
What can we do?
Microphone. We can take a deep breath.
We could take a deep dragon breath. We can name what we're feeling, right? We can say, I'm frustrated. And then we can breathe it, and that'll help us calm down. And then we can tame it, right? Nice job. Please join me in singing our kids out to their classes. We will keep a place for you in your order of service.
The voluntary offering, the sharing of our resources for our shared work as a religious community, is a spiritual practice for all of us. It reminds us first that we alone are responsible for the strength and effectiveness of our faith, for our own sake and for all of those who join us. And it reminds us also that we have chosen freely and gladly to come together here this day and every day. This month, we share our offering with our own Fern Street Food Ministries Walk Against Hunger campaign. The link for that is in your order of service. Our food ministry is one of our congregation's social action ministries. We have 5 different programs that support hundreds of food insecure people in our area around us and wider still. It keeps growing. You can participate in the walk by signing up to be there on the day with others from our congregation, or by making a pledge, a donation through the walk itself, or by today participating in our shared offering. Your contributions will help us feed our neighbors and our guests. To give electronically, please use the QR codes on your order of worship, the links in the description if you are online, or those on our website to make your donation to our offering. Here in the sanctuary, our offering will now be gratefully received. I bless these gifts that you have so generously given that will serve not only us in this community, but extend ourselves into the larger community. Thank you all for your generosity. Please join me now in saying together our responsive reading. It's responsive reading 529 in the gray hymnal. We will read this all together. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measures. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. Please rise if you are willing and able to join in singing our doxology. Be seated. Tomorrow, Grace E. will be at the Connecticut Children's Medical Center for a full-body MRI, a brain MRI, a thyroid ultrasound, and other significant tests. These are necessary because Grace has had elevated inflammation markers in her blood work. Sarah and Matt E. are asking for the well wishes, positive thoughts, and if you engage in the practice, prayers for Grace's good health and mostly for their capacity as parents to meet whatever new challenges arrive from the results of these tests. Please send birthday wishes and cards to Henry E. for his celebration on April 26th. He was inadvertently left off in the recognition in April's edition of the passages, because every now and then your minister makes a boo-boo. Beyond this community, let us all hold those in our country and outside our country who continue to lose loved ones in war. Let us continue to focus our energies on asking for peace and resolutions to conflict that do not produce more violence and more unnecessary losses. Please join me now as we hold all those spoken prayers as well as all those that are unspoken that we hold within during our moments of shared silence. In our week ahead, may we seek to acknowledge the wonders of new growth that touch our lives and celebrate that we are always held and supported in those moments of growth by one another. Please join me in singing Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the gray hymnal.
I am reading for joy from Grit. Isn't that a great word? Grit. By Angela Duckworth. And if after this you want to know more about Angela Duckworth, I highly commend YouTube or TED Talk. She has a lot to say about grit. Grit has two components: passion and perseverance. The intersection between these two elements tell one whether you have enough grit to carry you through what comes into your life. If you were to take my grit scale and look closely at the questions, you might notice that none of the passion questions ask how intensely you're committed to your goals. This may seem odd because the word passion is often used to describe intense emotions. For a lot of people, passion is synonymous with infatuation or obsession. But in the interviews, high achievers often talk about commitment of a different kind. Rather than intensity, what comes up again and again is the idea of consistency over time. For Pete Carroll, football coach, it's summed up in the question, do you have a philosophy of life? Grit is about holding the same top-level goal for a very long time. The life philosophy is so interesting and important that it organizes a great deal of your waking activity. In very gritty people, most mid-level and low-level goals are, in one way or another, related to the ultimate goal. In contrast, a lack of grit can come from having less coherent goal structures. Grit requires one to persevere even when everything seems to be falling apart. One digs deeper and harder into the ultimate goal and sticks with it until it is achieved. Angela Duckworth.
Often the word grit is associated with 10-gallon cowboy hats. I didn't wear mine today, but it is in my closet. I looked for it. And sometimes John Wayne actor types, including the spurs and belt-buckled waists that come with that. However, today I wish to provide what I hope to be a differing lens for grasping the depth and understanding of that word in a different way. As is my usual practice, I did my etymological dive and I came up a little dusted, but not with much to show for the deeper diving in the dirt. Apparently, the word grit originated in Old English around 1225 as a reference to particles of sand clogging mills. This reference probably echoed from St. Anselm's parable of the human heart as a mill, which was most likely written in French during the period of his Benedictine monastic life from around 1058 to 1109. In the irony often found in mystics, in particular Catholic ones like St. Anselm, he joined his fellow mystics in using various household or country activities as analogous to always remaining open. And so he used the grist mill as his image to remind his monks at the monastery of how to, quote, operate properly, how to be present without losing focus or running amok. His use of the word Great, which is German, spelled G-R-E-O-T, is the word that eventually became grit in 1225. And in his meditation to his monks, he cautioned against the mill being stopped by the dirt or the sand granules because it wasn't maintained well. The important aspect of all this deep etymological diving is that the word grit came from original German and moved into Old English and has been developed more since then, including into the westerns of John Wayne. One of the outstanding research professors of psychology in our country, Dr. Angela Duckworth, has written the book that Molly Loudon read from this morning. This is the book. It's not a little thing. Our reading this morning obviously came from that, and within the pages of this book, there is an absolutely fascinating exploration of what she defines as grit. And she calls it a special blend of perseverance and passion. Our Time for All Ages this morning demonstrated one of those critical aspects of grit. A person of grit, regardless of their age or position or stature, always knows that they have to try again, and often must try over and over, especially after discovering something new about themselves. Several folks have defined one of the elements that Duckworth notes, the element of passion. Howard Thurman noted, "Finding your passion is not just about doing what you love. It's about doing what makes you come alive." David Brooks has said, "Finding your passion is not just about doing what you love, it's about doing what you can't not do." In many instances, Michelle Obama identified passion through her time in the White House and in her following books. And a summation in relation to her concept of going high, she wrote, "Passion, especially in challenging situations, is channeled into going high, which means maintaining urgency and purpose in your efforts rather than just reacting with anger. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." Maya Angelou noted in her memoir, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." And John Bon Jovi said, "Nothing is as important as passion. No matter what you want to do with your life, be passionate." Spring always calls us to pay attention to the earth. Ironically, the earth is what produces grit. And it produces its own grit, the earth. It speaks to each of us of the passion and perseverance of life in all seasons. Spring speaks of the bursting of new life everywhere, the blossoming of trees and new leaves unfurling, the ceremonial songs of peeper frogs, the tiny violets and crocuses that pop up in unusual places, the baby birds calling out and their parents responding. Everything reminds us once again that we can and always do begin anew, even when the winter seems to be endless, even when we may not want to get out of bed in the morning. This spring of 2026, especially amid all that is happening on the national and international stage, calls out for us to enlist our grit, to not only allow the beckoning of the natural world to guide us, but also to use nature as a model for how to continue, how to persevere by living with and through all that surrounds us. In another book I consulted for this sermon, by Lee David Daniels, entitled Grit for Kids, 16 Top Steps for Developing Grit, Passion, Willpower, and Perseverance in Kids for Self-Confidence and a Successful Life, the author discussed how one grows grit. Mr. Daniels noted this process. The process of developing grit goes like this. First comes the interest in an activity. Next comes the capacity to practice that activity by consistently eliminating flaws. To be gritty is to resist being okay with the level of current performance. Gritty people do what it takes to get better, no matter how good they currently are now. Third is the purpose, which I interpret as an activity that is personally interesting and for the benefit of others. And finally, there is an expectation of success based on an applied effort, which I interpret as the ability to keep going when things get difficult. The key driver of developing grit in our kids, even those who cry constantly, is passion for an activity. And he writes, help your children in discovering their passion and increase their chance of success by developing their top-level goals. One of the critical practices that Angela Duckworth points out in her research is that growing grit happens from both the inside as well as from the outside. Now, my mystic self, when I read that, wants to shout out to all of you, saying loud and clear, The steps in the growing grit process are not just for you kids. This process applies to all of us. Growing grit for all of us means time in self-reflection and then time for implementation, regardless of what can and often does get in our ways. Here is the springtime analogy about growing grit from Lee David Daniels' book. If growing grit from the inside is like a plant that grows due to its capacity to absorb nutrients, growing grit from the outside involves placing that plant in good soil, a sunny location, and regularly watering it. I challenge you this day, as we prepare to celebrate Earth Day this week, as well as in next Sunday's service, to grow your grit. Now, that's a mouthful. Say that 5 times. I ask you to take healthy, reflective time to recognize that you have the capacity, skills, and imagination to be passionate and persevering enough to truly grow where you find yourself and your amazing grit planted. I ask you to put your grit to work, to know even when you feel covered in the muck of overwhelming feelings of where to turn next, what to do, how to cope, you have the power from within to continue on and to celebrate your grit of spring. May it be so. Our closing hymn is hymn number 219, "O Hear My People." Let us speak together our unison benediction. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Please be seated and remain for our postlude.